2017's Clone Drone in the Danger Zone was an incredible voxel-based combat game, where you control a human mind piloting a combat robot. What made the game stand out was the damage system. You could die in one hit to your vitals, or get your limbs chopped off and your abilities decreased. The other cool part is the clone system. After each round of the arena, you're given an opportunity to upgrade your character or create a backup clone to replace you when you die. The game was incredibly in-depth, but there was only so much you could do in a PC game. It seemed like the challenging, physics-based, realistic weapon interactions and the medium of VR were a match made in heaven, and apparently so did the creators of Clone Drone. In late 2024, they released the second installment in the series, Clone Drone in the Hyperdome, a VR title that improves every aspect of the original game. This is some of the most fun I've had in VR in a long time. I genuinely forgot I was recording when capturing gameplay for the video. Real quick, we are so close to 1,000 subs. When I hit it, I'll do a foot reveal. Also join my Discord in the description. Back to the video. What makes the combat so fun is the pacing. Sure, you can just thrust past the defense of every enemy and slice their head before they have a chance to move, and that can be incredibly fun. But you can also slow down and keep distance, and have a slow cinematic sword fight with parrying and blocking. The enemies do slow drawn out attacks that let you anticipate them and block them. Sure, this isn't realistic at all, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be fun, and it definitely is. The damage system is absolutely the best I've ever seen. In other VR games, you probably will have a health bar, and when you get hit, you don't really care because it's just a number going down. In Clone Drone, if you get hit in the non-vital areas, they get damaged or removed. It decreases your abilities and makes you feel attached to your virtual body. Whenever you get hit and don't die, you feel lucky and more appreciative of your current life. Whenever you do die and see your body explode into pieces, it makes it even more personal, as you feel really attached to it. And when you get revenge against the goon that killed you, it feels extremely satisfying. I've never felt this in any other games. They really got it right here. There are several different bosses that you face after every few rooms. They each have their own ability, but ultimately they still have the same weaknesses as basic enemies and an extension the player. They are incredibly easy to cheese. You just have to wait under them and they will jump on your sword. They are fun to break up the randomly generated dungeons. The bosses are in the same position as you. If they are the same as you and they all have powers, that means you must have your own. If you haven't played the game yet, your power is teleportation. It's an incredibly smart way to add teleportation. It's not an alternative to walking, but it's an extension of your abilities, and the bosses will react to you teleporting, and even call you a coward for it. It makes teleportation locomotion actually make sense, and it doesn't feel cheap falling back on a teleport when you're in a tough spot, like it can in other games. Once you kill a boss, you can take their power, and if you already have one, then you can choose to upgrade your current powers using the new one. It's a really fun system with many different possibilities. Collecting them along the way is incredibly fun, and building up your powers with upgrades feels great. The final boss is great. It's cinematic and can be intense when running low on clones. You fight the dictator of the system you're stuck in. He is incredibly cocky and satisfying to clap. When you first enter the arena and see that he has 8 clones, it's incredibly intimidating, as typically you would have 1 to 2 spare clones on a first playthrough. Once you get him down to his final form, he takes you up to a final arena. It reminds me of the final boss of Rayman 2, where you fight a big guy on the top of his ship. In his final phase, he's got a cool fire sword. It's a fun fight, and it's a pushover if you're skilled enough, but it's still fun if you drag it out. In the game's current form, it's missing a lot of stuff from the previous game, like multiplayer and optional post-game content. The only thing to do after beating the game is to replay the randomly generated dungeon. It's fun, but after a few times, you're gonna see it all. The developers stated they'll be updating the game for a while, so I hope they add an endless mode. I also think they should really add challenges and an arena, just like Ratchet & Clank. Those arenas in Iraq 2 and 3 were so much fun, and I wasted so much time on those. It'd be incredibly addicting if they did add something like that. The destructible props really make the game feel full. It's completely useless to chop these boards, but it's fun and satisfying. These doors that spawn this gold face can be opened with one chop, but what's the fun in that? Every time without fail, I'll chop the debris into pieces, and it feels amazing. The pots that give you coins are fun to chop through, and watching them crumble is satisfying as hell. Each character has their own distinct personality, and they are actually voice acted in this game, which is a step up from the prequel. I think it's cool that when you kill them in the dungeon, they get angry at you in the resting area. It's a neat touch, and it seems like they always have something different to say whenever I see them. Overall, Clone Drone in the Hyperdome has grown to be one of my favorite VR games. I'm excited to see which direction it goes in, and hopefully they make more VR titles, as clearly they know what they're doing. Alright, that's all I have to say about the game. If you made it to the end, I just want to say thanks. If you enjoyed, of course sub, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.